Hey, listeners, this is Peter, and welcome back to the History Shorts. Today's episode is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. Picture the most respected men in Morristown, New Jersey: war heroes, colonels, doctors, prosperous landowners. Men who had survived the American Revolution, helped Washington winter his army in their city, and built a thriving community in one of the new nation's most historically significant towns. Now, picture those same men, grown adults, pillars of society, creeping through the dark New Jersey woods in the dead of night, trembling at strange lights and mysterious explosions, desperately trying to communicate with a ghost. A ghost that one man alone claimed he could control. That man was Ransford Rogers. He was a school teacher from Connecticut. He was also one of the most audacious con artists in American history. And in 1788, he made some of the smartest men in New Jersey look like complete fools. Our history brief today returns to some famous Americans you never knew existed. A quick word from our sponsors. This day in history. On April 21st, 1836, Texan forces led by Sam Houston defeated the Mexican army at the Battle of San Jacinto, securing Texas independence in a decisive and swift victory. On April 21st, 1926, Queen Elizabeth II was born in London. Her reign would become the longest in British history, spanning decades of global change. Story of the day. The story here begins, as so many good con stories do, with a legend that was already in circulation before the con man arrived. During the Revolutionary War, Morristown, New Jersey had been the military capital of the American Revolution. And I'm not exaggerating here. Washington wintered his colonial army there not once, but twice. The town had seen more of the war up close than almost anywhere else in the new nation. And in the aftermath of that war, a rumor spread through Morris County that lingered long after the last soldier had gone home. It was said that Tory loyalists, British sympathizers fleeing the advancing Continental forces, had buried large quantities of gold and valuables in the hills around Schooley Mountain before they fled. They had buried it deep. And according to the whispered version of the story that circulated in taverns at least and around firesides, they had buried something else alongside it: bodies. And those bodies, the story went, had become ghosts, spirits that guarded the treasure and would not allow it to be claimed. It was, on its face, the kind of story that sensible people should have dismissed. Morristown's sensible people, however, did not entirely dismiss it. Enter Ransford Rogers. Rogers was, by various accounts, a man of modest formal education, but extraordinary social gifts. He was described by contemporaries as affable, persuasive, and possessed of a remarkable ability to inspire confidence in the people around him. He also had, crucially, some knowledge of chemistry that would prove essential to his scheme. Rogers was teaching school in New York when he encountered a group of men from New Jersey who told him about Schooley Mountain's treasure legend. He listened carefully. He told them that he knew how to communicate with spirits, and he suggested he relocate to Morristown and lead them on a supernatural treasure hunt. And the men said yes. In August of 1788, Ransford Rogers arrived in Morristown, set up a school on Mendham Road, established himself as a man of learning, and began cultivating the most prominent men in town. Among his eventual recruits was Colonel Benoni Hathaway, a genuine war hero who had fought at the Second Battle of Springfield and had earned real distinction in the Revolutionary War. The man who had faced British muskets without flinching was about to be thoroughly undone by a Connecticut schoolteacher with a chemistry set. Rogers' stagecraft was by any measure impressive. He used his knowledge of chemistry to create delayed explosions, small charges he planted in the ground in advance that would detonate at precisely the right moment during the nighttime rituals that he orchestrated. He manufactured mysterious lights. He arranged apparitions. He created the full theatrical experience of genuine supernatural activity on the darkened hillsides of Morris County. And his victims, gathered in the dark, primed by their own belief in the treasure legend, desperately wanting what Rogers was selling, were terrified and convinced in equal measure. He charged them for his services, naturally. He told them the spirits required payments, offerings, before they would release the treasure, and the money flowed in. Then he charged them again. The spirits required more, he said, and the treasure was almost within reach, just a little more. A total amount Rogers extracted from his victims was, in today's money, approximately $40,000, not a trivial sum at all. And the victims were not naive county folk. They were the educated elite of a town that had, as your humble narrator knows, because, well, I wrote a book about it, literally helped run the revolution. This is perhaps the most important and most uncomfortable truth at the heart of this whole Morristown ghost hoax. Smart people are not immune to being conned. Educated people are not immune to being conned. And people who have demonstrated genuine courage and genuine competence in other areas of life are also not immune to being conned. What Rogers understood, intuitively, practically, with the wisdom of a born hustler, was that the most effective con doesn't exploit stupidity. It exploits desire. His victims wanted the treasure. They wanted it badly enough to ignore the warning signs, to rationalize the mounting payments, to keep coming back to those dark hillsides night after night, because the alternative, admitting that they had been fooled, was worse than being fooled a little longer. The unraveling came when Rogers was caught in the act. The precise details vary across the several pamphlets and accounts written about the affair in the years that followed, none of which entirely agree. But the core is consistent. Someone got close enough at the right moment to see through the stagecraft. The ghost had a human face. The explosions had a human cause. Rogers was arrested and jailed. He was released on bail. He promptly fled New Jersey with the money and was never heard from again. Some historians have speculated, with a dry appreciation for the audacity of it all, that the anonymous pamphlet published in 1792 under the gloriously titled name The Morristown Ghost, an account of the beginning, transactions, and discovery of Ransford Rogers, who seduced many by pretend hobgoblins and apparitions, and thereby extorted money from their pockets in the county of Morris and state of New Jersey in the year of 1788. Whew. Anyway, that it was written by Rogers himself. A final, unprovable smirk from a man who had gone away with everything. The Morristown ghost hoax has endured in Morris County folklore for more than 2 centuries, retold in pamphlets, in almanacs, and in local histories, and even in a book published by the History Press that, as I mentioned, I myself wrote, and where I tried to separate the fact from the considerable fiction that accumulated around it. The History Brief. The following comes to us from Felton and Fowler's Famous Americans You Never Knew Existed. It was a New York Times story, but the headline was Pure Police Gazette. Electrically charged boy furnishes power for fan and lights. On an afternoon in 1908, 7-year-old E.G. Atloy of Houston returned home from a visit to a dentist to find that the fresh metal fillings in his teeth had transformed him into a human storage battery. We won't speculate, nor does the Times story enlighten us on this, on what prompted the boy to place the plug from an electric fan into his mouth. But when he did, his head snapped back and the fan began to turn. At first slow, but then faster and faster till it was going at top speed. Scientists studying a young EG found that he could magnetize so powerfully an iron handled hammer merely by grasping at it a few seconds that it could suck up carpet tacks from a distance of 4 feet. The mother was frightened and feared witchcraft, the Times reported. But the boy seemed pleased at the reaction and said that he feels only an agreeable sensation. He has red hair of the reddest possible hue, large freckles, and blue eyes, according to the New York Times. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and helping make this little show such a mighty success. If you are enjoying this show and would like to help with its production, you can always donate a few dollars at buymeacoffee.com or become a Patreon member to enjoy these episodes ad free. Both links can be found on our website at www.historyshortspodcast.com. And I do hope you guys check out our YouTube channel where there are certain series that are not part of this broader podcast stream. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.